Today we're taking a look at the NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, August 28, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Nebraska vs Illinois. The passing attack might be a tad iffy until a few new playmakers emerge, but the Huskers have a good group of backs around QB Adrian Martinez, and the offensive front will be fine despite losing the 2 top parts from last year's line. This isn't going to be a top Illinois defense quite yet, if at all. With 17 starters coming back this season, Nebraska fans are hoping the team will make it to its first bowl game since 2016. The Huskers are expected to be improved on defense this season, which is one of the reasons why Bielema is going with senior Brandon Peters as the starting quarterback. Just having someone behind center with experience should smooth over the transition to Bielema's way of doing things. Peters wasn't airing the ball out, but he was accurate in his last run-in with the Huskers, 18 of 25 passing for 205 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 36 yards and another touchdown. The Cornhuskers averaged 23.1 points per game last season. They threw for 190.1 yards and rushed for 202.5 yards per game. Adrian Martinez returns as the team's starting quarterback. He completed 71.5% of his passes for 1,055 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He also rushed for 521 yards and 7 touchdowns. Nebraska has some good offensive parts, but most of them are untested, and Martinez has yet to show any real consistency. The Illinois linebacking core will be a massive plus, and the line should be far stronger. On the other side, Illinois has a few good receiving transfers to bother the Husker secondary, and it should have a decent enough running game to at least keep things moving. The Cornhuskers struggled defensively last season, giving up 29.3 points per game. With 10 starters coming back, 5 of whom are 5-year seniors, their defense is expected to be better than it was last year. My betting advice for that game is to pick Illinois. UTEP vs New Mexico State. Defensively, UTEP must improve from last season after allowing 31 points and 381 yards per game, but did hold 4 of its 8 opponents to 21 points or less. Therese Knight returns as the Miners' top linebacker and will lead to the defense. New Mexico State's defense was a disaster in 2019, the team didn't play in 2020, and the D struggled against FCS teams in its modified spring season, allowing over 5 yards per carry with 5 touchdowns in the 2 games. UTEP isn't exactly going to be all ground and pound, but Dean Hankins is a solid back in a good rotation working behind a veteran offensive front. The defensive line will be led by defensive end Praise Amawil, while the secondary has a solid tackler and safety Justin Prince. Juwan Price should be the lead back in the ground game again, after he ran 33 times for 222 yards plus a score in the spring. Alex Escobar, 14 carries, 81 yards, and Lorenzo McMillan, 2 carries, 4 yards, are also going to be in the mix. Watch out for Michigan transfer Omori Samuels as he'll battle for the starting RB job. Terrell Warner was the team's top receiver in the spring with 8 grabs for 105 yards and is back. Cole Harity, 6 receptions, 67 yards, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, 5 receptions, 61 yards, and Andre Bodison, 5 catches, 58 yards, TD, are going to be looked at to contribute in the passing game as well. Ethan Albertson has the inside track on the kicking job after hitting all 5 extra point attempts and 4 of 4 field goal tries with a long of 35. Price averaged 32.6 yards on 7 kick returns in the spring, including a 94-yard return for a score. My betting advice for that game is to pick UTEP. Quick reminder, you can get 125% cash-back bonus on your first deposit on our partner sportsbook BetUS after you open an account using our link down below and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES when making your deposit. Hawaii vs UCLA. The offensive side isn't bad, it'll be more balanced than sensational, but with just about all of the 2020 tackles made by Rainbow Warrior defenders accounted for, it really is about the D. The Rainbow Warriors were a great surprise last season as they finished the season 5-4 and finished with the third best record in the Mountain West Conference. Entering the 2021 season, head coach Todd Graham hopes that the run-and-gun offense can continue to be successful as they scored 26.2 points per game. The Rainbow Warriors are going to still be led by their quarterback from last season, Chevan Cordero, a redshirt sophomore who had 283 passing yards and 14 touchdowns, in addition to 483 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. But the question is who Cordero's receiving options are in the passing game. UCLA's offense produced an average of 35 points per game in 2020, good for second in the Pac-12 and 20th in the nation. Thompson Robinson will be joined in the backfield by Britchen Brown and Michigan transfer Zach Charbonnet, while redshirt junior Kyle Phillips will start for the third consecutive season on the outside. The offense is loaded with veterans. The receiving core should be UCLA's best in a long time, and the ground attack should take over early on behind a veteran line with everyone back. However, just like it is for Hawaii, the offense gets the headlines, but it's the defense that should be the star. Phillips has been a reliable target in each of the past 2 seasons. He caught 38 balls for 370 yards and 2 scores to lead all Bruins receivers last season. Chase Cota is expected to hold down the number 2 receiver job after notching 11 catches for 79 yards and 2 TDs last year. UCLA will also feature one of the nation's most dangerous receiving threats at tight end in Greg Dulcich, who should provide some stability at the position for the Bruins. Dulcich averaged 19.9 yards per catch and 73.9 yards per game last season, good for second in the country among tight ends. The Bruin defensive front should take over against a line that was way too leaky last season. Even with a few personnel losses, UCLA has the parts to press throughout and turn Hawaii into more of a passing team. It sounds strange for that program, but it really does want to run well. Aside from versatile running back Calvin Turner, who had 877 total yards and 10 touchdowns last season, the Rainbow Warriors will turn to Nick Martyr and senior Jared Smart as their top wide receivers, despite combining for only 408 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns last season. The bulk is there for the Hawaii defensive front, there's speed in the back 8, and there should be just enough generated pressure to be a problem for the Bruin backfield. My betting advice for that game is to pick Hawaii. Connecticut versus Fresno State. There is limited knowledge on the talent level of UConn's roster since they haven't played a meaningful game in seemingly forever. According to Neil Ostroud of the Manchester Journal, Steven Krajewski will split time at quarterback with Jack Zergiadis. The Huskies will have their hands full in their season opener as they come in as 27-point underdogs. Fresno State finished last season first in the Mountain West in passing and 5th nationally, and that should give them a massive advantage over UConn's inexperienced secondary. Jake Heener will be the starter, as the one-time Washington quarterback will have a day against the Huskies. Last season, he was 4th nationally in passing average per game and was top 20 nationally in pass efficiency and completions per game. Against a team of mainly freshmen and sophomores in the secondary, Heener couldn't ask for a better opener. In addition, Fresno State returns their top receiver in Jalen Cropper, along with nearly everyone else involved in the passing attack last season. My betting advice for that game is to pick Fresno State.